if it's with wearables, if it's with AR, if it's with onboarding fashion designers to the metaverse, and just see the opportunity and potential that there is for brand, for community, with fashion, with creativity. So super excited, and thank you so much. I think my 10 minutes is over and really excited to start the panel. Thank you, Eve. Back to you. Thank you, everyone.
Wow, that was super awesome. Thank you so much, Talia, for sharing your story and your journey to a very successful engagement, creation engagements. And congratulations on all the results achieved. We just started, right? So please enjoy. I see also some of you are changing the outfits, showing the virtual collections that they've got. I am not sure who it is in that green and blue outfit in the back, but it looks super epic, dope, as I can say. Every one of you put an effort into creating your identity. Look around, celebrate the choices, celebrate the come as you are, come as you want to be, because that's metaverse, that's opportunities, that's again the digital fashion line. You can become a creator. Now, I would like to dive into the virtual fashion, the creation of this new, not so new, but very, very prominently developing industry. Please welcome to the stage, and I will not share their introductions or stories. They will do it themselves. But please clap for the almighty ones in the field of virtual fashion. I'm calling to the stage our speakers. Talia Zoref, who just delivered the keynote. Kadine James, the founder of the Immersive Collective. Amber J. Slooten, who is the creative director and co-founder of the Fabricant. David Robustelli, founder and creative director at Capitola.Social. Natalie, Trevonne, and Gigi Casimiro will be present in the video pieces. And we also have Tamara Ingles, a metaverse designer and strategist focused on digital fashion immersive experiences, the winner of Caring Awards 2009. And we also have Carla Alexander Cosio, who is a Mexican artist, actress, and creator. So thank you very much. Take the positions facing the audience. You can rotate your avatars with letter E or letter Q by holding it. I think we are all complete. I love it, love it, love it. Not sure who the name is, but you are more than welcome to pretend that you are the speaker and enjoying the discussion. We make it casual way, so please feel free to ask questions. We have Q&A in the end. Just write down your questions, and also clap as much as possible and loud. Do I have the speakers on the stage? No, I don't see the speakers on the stage. I have David, Talia, yes, Amber is here, Damara. Okay, so Kadine, thank you. Take the positions next to me, and I will. I'm happy to start the conversation. So therefore, thank you very much. Damara is here. I see. One more round of applause, please, and thumbs up for our great, inspiring speakers. Lovely. So rotate your avatars. Use a letter Q and letter E. Now, as we are all here, let's start with introduction. I say that's one of the important things, to get to know the superstars and each other. So please briefly introduce yourself and share which location you're joining us from. Let's start with our keynote speaker, Talia. Where are you based? You already introduced yourself, but at least the location to be shared. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Awesome. Yeah, fantastic. This is super inspiring to have you here. I see Amber as well in the audience. Hi, Amber. Could you please introduce yourself and share where you're logging in from?
Hey, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Amazing. Yay, tech is working. Yeah, so my name is Amber. I'm joining from Amsterdam. I'm co-founder and creative director of the Fabricant, and we are at the digital owned house, creating clothing that is always digital and never ever physical.
Look at that. Round of applause. You have a lot of fans here, Amber, I'll tell you that. And I love how you also... Amazing. And I love how you also work with different parties and Ready Player Me. We can wear the fashion. We can do so many epic things. We'll get to your story after I make introduction of the rest of our speakers. Let me pass that digital invisible microphone to Kadine. Kadine, are you here? Do I see you?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, fantastic. Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Oh, I'm so stoked to be here. What an amazing opportunity to bring, some of my absolute icons and heroes together into the gallery space. I'm such a huge fan of everybody's work, and I'm delighted to be in such incredible company. Thank you for bringing the community together today.
Amazing. Thank you for hosting us, Kadine. I can't wait to hear your story. And we have also Damara. Damara, are you here? So many people, so amazing. I'll get back to Damara in a second if she's not yet in the environment. Carla, I saw you here as well. Carla Alexandra.
Yes, hello, everyone. My name is Carla Alexandra Cosio. I am joining from Oaxaca, Mexico. My avatar is finding its way to the stage. But yeah, I am here and I am co-founder, thank you. I am co-founder of Lexa, which is a collective in which we work with different artists, painters, designers, photographers, and we have a collective for emerging artists. And currently we are working on helping those artists.
Amazing. Carol, are you still speaking or you finished your line? Because I may have lost you. All right. I will let some of our speakers to refresh the pages. There is a little bit of challenge we experience. We have amazing work and pieces of art in the gallery, in the space. So please do not be kind of disturbed with some kind of loading and uploading. We are here to provide as seamless as possible experience. And therefore, let's start the discussion with those who are in the environment and wait for the others to join us. Now, thank you for the introductions, my dear speakers. I'm joining from the United States, originally from Amsterdam. And I'm so happy to scale business and meet people like yourself across the globe, all gathered in one environment. Now, I would like to ask a question to the speakers because all of them have different backgrounds. And as you came into the virtual fashion industry and became fashionistas, designers, creators, could you please share with our audience what led you in your journey to this point in your life? How did you become so amazing? Let me start with David. And then we'll continue with every other speaker answering that same question. Thank you very much, David. The floor is yours.
Sure. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So basically, I come from a gaming development background. We started creating branded Facebook games about 10 years ago. Then that's kind of evolved into when we got our hands on the Dev Kit 1 from Oculus into VR. We started looking into AR for the HoloLens one. We got a test kit and we could work with that as well. We did a lot of prototyping and we always were, eager to understand how brands could benefit from this. So basically how brands could have like a more immersive connection with their audience. And when it really hit off, because we did a lot with web AR as well, but when it really hit off was when we started focusing on social augmented reality. So when Snap, Instagram, Facebook launched their development platforms publicly about 5 years ago, we immediately dove into it, and then we could really, have a very smooth experience for users. They didn't have to download additional apps to have an AR experience, and the fashion element basically knocked on our door when we got into the beta testing group for Lens Studio, where we could try out 3D body tracking. And that was basically the first time that we thought, oh my God, this is going to be amazing for fashion, because now we could create 3D fashion and we could have it real time on users. We created a first puffer jacket. I think it was about 3 years ago, and then we thought, okay, this is going to hit off. So basically, from then on, we started focusing more and more on virtual fashion. We tried to educate brands, to show them the opportunities with this tech. We did some very cool campaigns. One for Tommy Hilfiger, where there was also like a shop involved, where you could basically shop within AR. You could try it on and you could buy it. And now that's evolving more and more into several spaces where you can wear fashion virtually. And I think also from a perspective where you have very, very amazingly crafted virtual fashion as NFTs, I really believe that AR is a feature which gives it a little bit of an extra utility. So that's where we are focusing on. And I think it's going to be only better and better within the year. So I'm very excited to see where it goes.
Full support on this one. Really cool. Exciting indeed. Kadine, what do you think? Or what would you like to share about your story and your journey so far to this point in life?
Yeah, so I love David's work. I'm such a super fan, and I had the pleasure of wearing the crispy puffer jacket. Love the collection that you put out for Tommy Hilfiger. So big fangirl here. I've spent a lot of my career working at the intersection of 3D and art and fashion and tech, and I was involved in the immersive shopping experience with Pokemon and Charlie Cohen, also with Damara, working to bring digital fashion onto avatars. I set up my own studio, the Immersive Kind, and our collective 6 years ago now, bringing together 3D artists and crypto fashion designers and creators, and really thinking about ways that we could build a community and foster new ideas about how we can show up in virtual worlds and spaces and experience fashion in new ways. And then in addition to that, I've also been creating my own wearables and NFT collections, working with some incredible artists and creators. We've dropped collections in Decentraland. We've just opened this gallery, which is a 60,000 square foot piece of virtual architecture, where we're hosting NFT artists and crypto fashion designers and creators. And my journey has been, through art and, looking towards new ways of using technology to create fashion, and love everybody's work here today. It's a huge honor to be a part of this community and making history as we are today, bringing the community together in these virtual worlds and spaces.
Wow, thank you, Kadine. What a rock star you are. Amazing. Everyone clap, 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 all together. Very loud and proud. Awesome, awesome. Thank you very much. Catch the images, post on your social media, share with love, tag all the speakers, and that's how we bring attention to their work even more. Now, Amber, you are amazing at what you do. Tell me your story. Tell us your story. What led you to this point in life and to also start the Fabricant? Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a journey, I have to say. I think my fascination has always been with gaming and virtual worlds. So as a kid, I mean, I'm a millennial, so I'm in between worlds. Like I grew up in a physical reality, but when I grew up, more and more computers started coming along, and I could sort of experience what digital worlds would be, let's say. So I started exploring those, and I always was a very big fan of gaming. You know, as a kid, I used to be like spend hours and hours in The Sims dressing characters and creating, you know, virtual identities. And I always felt like that was really freeing to me in exploring who I was, let's say, and to exploring what was my style. And this reflected back on me in the real world, which was very interesting. And I always had the fascination with identity. So I went into fashion school because I felt like that was the best place to explore that. But I realized that fashion is extremely pollutive, and that's also what we've learned there. Is like so many brands are still creating clothing, and it's not adding anything to the world. You know, it's just creating more waste. And I felt like that was not my place to go into the world to create more clothes for us to create more piles of waste with. So then I thought back on my youth and digital spaces and what that meant, and especially the future becoming more digital anyway. I felt like that was the right direction to take, and that's how in 2018 we started the Fabricant after I graduated with a digital collection in 2016, which was absolutely insane. Like a lot of people called me like, you're absolutely crazy for doing that, because a lot of people didn't know that it would be a thing, right? And that it would become something. And I think that's the beauty of this space. It's growing so much, and there's so many people joining the movement. It's no longer just a single funny thing, but it's actually becoming a movement. And we are now here, all of us presenting as an avatar, talking to each other. Like, who expected that? So I feel like, you know, in a way, that is kind of where the future is going more. And right now, it's still kind of a gimmicky experience, but it's getting there, you know, and it's becoming better and better. And yeah, what I'm wearing today is, you know, it's one of the looks that we co-created together with World of Women. So it's their collection, an NFT project, and we really believe in NFT projects, PFP projects. So yeah, the collaboration was actually amazing. Super happy that we're working together with them. And I see some more people wearing the looks, so that's amazing. You can just grab them out of the library. They're all the way at the end. And I love the way people are styling these looks. It's insane. And more of this to come. We're releasing our own couture line very soon, so that's really exciting. But yeah, I think digital fashion is here, and it's here to stay. So I'm super excited to be here with all of you discussing this, because yeah, I love all of your work.
We love your work, and we're clapping for that. You are inspiring us with your Fabricant team. You have an amazing team. I came across a few members, and they are just driven, you know. It just gives me wings, and I believe everyone gets wings today. So if it's the first time for you to learn about the stories that were shared up till now, we're going to continue with introductions of our speakers. Do remember the names of their companies. Go on social media, to their websites, see what they produce. Go to Rarible, OpenSea, or other marketplaces. Buy one, try one, and inspire others, because outfits are amazing. What I see here is great. Okay, so we have also Carla in the audience. Carla, we were sharing the stories. What led us to this point in life to become NFC fashion creator, digital fashion creator, or the driver of this industry? You are the influencer from Mexico. You're an actress. You are now, I think it was just announced in January, like launched on Netflix, right? The update of the series. So tell me, what led you to NFT journey and the journey of fashion and textile? Here's Carla. Let's give it a round of applause. Woo!
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Can you hear me? Yep. Can you see me?
Yes, we can.
Hi.
If you could
Hello,
click on
everyone.
the left view and rotate the avatar a little bit, that will be facing the audience then. Oh, and we can see you. Fantastic.
Okay, great. Just want to rotate my avatar. I'm finding a way to it, but well, yeah,
We
I
can
don't want
see
to
you.
be
That's great.
facing.
That's
There you
good.
go, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so thank you, everyone, and thank you. I'm really grateful for being here. And well, my story, I've been an actress for over 25 years. I started really early. So costume is a very important part of the process of creating a character. And I always paid attention to the costume I wore when I was playing different characters because something magical happens when you get in costume. Clothes can change the way you feel, and clothes are an extent of our personality, so you can express yourself by the clothes you wear. And I've also been very interested in art, so I also studied art history, specialized in history of fashion, because since I was a little girl, when I saw paintings or artworks, I always paid attention to what the characters were wearing and the colors and why were they wearing what they were wearing. The clothes they were wearing expressed something. The colors or the texture, it expressed something. So I lived in Mexico City, and then when I came to live to Oaxaca, I discovered a whole new world regarding textiles and their relevance in culture. Oaxaca it has a magnificent, a very rich cultural heritage, all of Mexico, but Oaxaca especially is very artistic, and people here wear their traditional garments with pride to all kinds of events. They wear textiles and natural dyes and traditional iconography are worn from casual to exquisite elegance. So what I saw is that I'd like to. Then we created this art collective called Lexa, where we work with, as I said, many artists, painters, designers, and photographers. So in our collective, what we do is that the collective offers workshops for people, and what we are trying to do, how we are helping the artists, is to be in the material world, but also we help them transition their work to the digital art, and we help them get their NFT wallet, and we're just a collective to get our culture out there in the metaverse, in the whole world. So thank you.
Thank you. Let's give a round of applause. And I was a little bit slow with doing this, but you can see what Carla was referring to. That's the traditional way of making clothes. We're taking it to the next level, making digital, but also this new industry can create opportunities for the traditional weavers and creators and producers to find a chance in life, because it's so hard nowadays if you are not technically technology savvy, innovative, and so on. It's hard to be present in the modern world. Therefore, thank you very much, Carla, for all your efforts, for really helping those women and men and non-binary people. I know that you are working across genders, across ethnicities, supporting, and I would love to clap my hands myself as well. Okay, thank you very much. I am looking for Damara. Damara, are you with us now? I know there's a little bit of delay in performance. Do we have? Okay. Once Tamara is here, I will give her the chance to introduce herself. She's an amazing artist. I saw her work. I was so inspired by, and she is, for a reason, the winner of Caring Awards 2019. She produced something incredible. Now, while we are waiting on fashion industry to become prominent and bring us more money and more fashion, let's talk about it. Let's discuss why it is the hype. I've been talking to so many people, they couldn't understand, why are you interested in this? It's just another .com crisis, it's going to explode. Who needs that new avatar t-shirt? And then you see the other ones, the movement ones, the moving ones, the creative ones, are saying, we need not only one virtual t-shirt, we need so many. Then the question is, why do we need it? And diving deeper into that discussion, I would like to address a question to our speakers. Let's discuss why virtual fashion is becoming that big, huge thing. What is the state of the industry and key challenges and opportunities that you see? I would love to start with Kadine, and then we'll move into the presentations of other speakers. Kadine, so what are the challenges, opportunities, and why is that becoming a thing? Thank you. While Kadine is getting to the stage, do you hear well, like all the speakers who were answering questions? Could you please use Y for thumbs up? Then yes, you can hear everything great. Or N, that's thumbs down. Can you hear me? Okay, you can hear me. Could you hear Carla? Okay, it's a mixed feedback. Some could hear, some no. Just a little trick. I know it takes a second, but refresh the page, come back in. There's a possibility we have a lag. Today is a little bit unpredictable, and it depends also on your internet connection. So if you stop hearing, just quickly update, refresh the page, come back, and you're supposed to hear it all well. Now, I see more people joining in. This is fantastic. Kadine, do we have you? All right, so then we'll go to Amber. Could you please provide your answer? Why is it becoming a thing? Why are we literally experiencing this hype in virtual fashion?
Yeah, of course. I think it's a massive thing where suddenly we have been pushed into digital spaces by a pandemic that we had to move in through. So, somehow we have been learning how to communicate over digital channels and noticing that we don't need to travel the world to meet each other and to have an experience of talking to each other. And these kind of spaces will function as connection places, where we will be able to connect with each other and no longer need to fly the world for that, but actually be able to express ourselves in new ways and reach more people. And that's something that social media has been doing for the past 20 years, but that, Web3 is going to be able to do with a more of giving the power back to the community rather than to big tech. And I think that's for us very exciting. And I think, the thing that we're seeing now is more and more people are wanting to come online. And if you're then online, you need to be dressed in a certain way. You need to, wear your identity. Like, who is it that you are presenting yourself as in the space? If I would ask like all of you to come to the space and you could not choose any options of the garments, but you could just have one outfit, nobody would feel like themselves. And that's weird because you're looking at a character and you think, oh, maybe that's not me. But somehow it just feels like that is really not you. And it's the same in real life. If, for instance, you come somewhere and your suitcase is missing, or you have to borrow clothes from a friend or from your mom or whatever, you don't feel like yourself because your clothes are such a big part of your identity. So moving into these virtual spaces, we need to be able to have something to represent us. This can be clothing, but obviously it can be way more, because in the virtual world you can create anything. Maybe you could wear an aura or a 5 meter long thing that drags behind you. Like there's no limits to what your digital identity can become. Maybe your identity is even the space around you, right, that you're decorating. So yeah, there's so many exciting things to still discover. And I feel like, this is only the first baby steps, is to copy what we do in reality. But to go beyond that, I think is the next level. And that's where we can create a lot of storytelling and interactivity. Maybe we have to play games together to get wearables, or, it can be something that is way more interactive than just observing. It can become something participatory. So I think that's what we are really excited about as well.
All right, clap, 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 clap. Thank you, Amber. I'm excited about this as well. And I'm also excited to give a chance to Talia to answer to this question. And mixing things. Talia?
Hey, sorry, my avatar just ran away because I pressed by accident somewhere on the screen. But amazing listening to you, Amber. I was trying to clap. That's what happened. The seat wasn't working. Yeah, slowly but surely with those. So obviously, with the technology developing, I think that everything else kind of will develop. Thank you, everyone. If some people come over here, that's so nice of you. So with the technology developing, I think that everything else will develop. And really, it's about, like Amber said, showcasing, yourself and your style in the metaverse, and really just showcasing the best version of you, or the version that you want to be for the day, and I think that, like, every day we wake up and feel like being another person. And if it's a person, or if it's, a character that is fictional. If you want also to just repeat the question to make sure that I'm answering the exact thing that you wanted me to. Like, I know the basics, but like just making sure that I don't get carried off. My ADD. Eve?
Yes, I'm musing with grace. It takes a moment. Hi, thank you very much, Talia. Yeah, can you hear me? All good? All
yes,
good.
Yes, of course. So if you want to repeat just the specifics of what you want me to share.
Yes, the question was, as we are discussing virtual fashion today, what is the state of the industry as you see it, and the challenges and opportunities?
Yeah,
So
of course.
like, from your perspective?
Yeah, 100%. It's just my ADD trying to play with my character while I speak. So I started answering and then kind of got lost. So yeah, I think that, like I said, the challenges are definitely the technology and getting people kind of to, use this technology. And also, I think we're all so early, like adapting and being here, in the metaverse and taking part in these events. And I think that the more, it advances, like the amazing collaboration, even this one. Applauses to Fabricant, the Fabricant and World of Women. I was at the launch event, so this is super exciting to be here and actually use it after NFT NYC. And the more kind of, and I remember also seeing it, like trying it on the Samsung there, and it was really amazing. And I think the more that we kind of practice and see, and the more that the technology develops, and I'm pretty sure, and I really believe it will, because this is really just the beginning, and we can really express ourselves more with ease, that will really give us the opportunity. But there are a lot of challenges with not everyone. I mean, I think today we're at a point that every brand already kind of almost took this these first baby steps into, the metaverse with different collaborations that we saw. If it's with Louis Vuitton just launching their NFT, or with Gucci that did so many amazing little kind of stepping stones into this field of digital fashion, and so many other brands. And I think that every brand already knows they need to be there, but the challenge really, I think, is to get more people maybe to get to really understand and realize what it is. But it is the future. Like, for me, it's so clear, like, to see that this is the way to showcase yourself, because already each of us really has this digital identity on social media, and this is just the next step. So I think that, so that's definitely an opportunity and a challenge in itself. And also for, I think, explaining, to investors, like, how to do it. It just like, you know, we're all very visual creatures. So on the one hand, yes, today you can see it as a video game, but then again, just to forward the message. And I really appreciate, like, I'm thinking about, you know, Amber doing this since 2018, and for her it was clear since then. So just seeing where we are today is just seeing how she pursued her vision, and the Fabricant is just amazing these days. Like I would, like, after the event in New York, you just see how many people are already there, already doing it with their amazing collaborations. So I think that it's just the evolution, and yeah, and I think that's it. Like, it's a challenge and opportunity, like everything new. So let's jump in the water, right?
Well, thank you, Talia.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's jump in water. I would love that. It's hot outside, and but you're making my day. So much energy, and this is hot. The heat I love. So I would like to give the digital microphone to pass to David to answer to the same question. What is the state of the industry as you see it, not only VR, but mostly AR perspective as you specialize in it? Key challenges and opportunities?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So first of all, I think why it's a thing now has everything to do with how technology is evolving and how it's being implemented in people's lives more and more. From my perspective, it's specifically interesting to see how the camera gets smarter and smarter. Everyone has a smartphone. Your camera can track your body, and you know, based on that, we can have more realistic experiences for users, which is a very important thing. Obviously, the more realistic, the better the experiences for the end user. For now, I think one of the biggest challenges is the onboarding of people, having them to try out any experience in any virtual world or in AR, or just, interacting with virtual pieces. And another issue is obviously interoperability. How can we make sure that people, that users can port their assets between virtual worlds, and how can we make sure that people can really own it in a way that it's also really that you can use it really as utility. And therefore, I think the more we experiment with it, the better. We're also experimenting with connecting your wallet to Snapchat, for example, and then you could also bring your virtual worlds or your virtual clothing that you have from your virtual worlds towards AR, and the other way around. And I think the more those issues are being solved, the better the experience for the user will be in the end, and the more people will start looking into it. So yeah, I think there are huge opportunities for brands, for creators, for artists, to show themselves in a way that was never possible before we could work with this technology. And I think it really opens up a world of opportunities. And for me personally, it's really for now never ending. And every day that we work with it, we are amazed about opportunities. And I think it really only ends with your own creativity and your own imagination. And as long as you work with the right people and the people that support you, the people that help you grow, I think this is something that's really there to stay. And yeah, I think it's something that's amazing, and that really helps. Not only brands but everybody that's involved in this space to have a larger view of this being a very serious movement. And you also see we're seeing very big brands diving into this space. And I think I always say when we talk to brands, let's not focus on only translating physical pieces into virtual pieces, but it's much more interesting to look at how we can create a virtual collection aside from a physical collection. Because there's much more opportunities. And as Amber also was saying about creating waste, this is a way that we can completely have a very sustainable way of creating fashion pieces. So yeah, I think that's a little bit what my understanding of it is.
Wow, David, brilliant. Thank you. I would love to engage more Carla into this discussion. How do you see the industry and key challenges and opportunities we experience?
Sure, thank you.
Carla,
Well,
I want to everyone hears Carla right now. Thumbs up? You do?
Can you hear me?
I can. Some people don't. I will ask if you don't hear Carla, quickly refresh. It just helps to adjust the audio levels. We are also recording. If you miss, for some reason, you missed the answer, you can find it in the video that is being broadcasted and will stay online. Thank you, Carla. The microphone is yours.
Thank you. Well, I believe there are endless possibilities in the opportunities we have in the digital fashion and digital art. Seriously, possibilities are endless, and as they formerly said, it only ends where your creativity ends. So I believe that gives us accessibility to the brands, but also accessibility to the work of the designers or the artists. And I just want to mention real quick that last night I was speaking to my 7-year-old daughter, who of course plays Roblox and knows a lot more than me of the digital world. And she told me something. She said, your avatar wears what inspires you. And I really thought about it. And you've mentioned before, the people before me, that it does gets you there with your whole narrative, your personality, what inspires you, what you are. You can transfer it to the digital world. But maybe I see as a challenge, for example, when you buy an NFT, what's behind the NFT? Who does it benefit? Why did you buy it? Did you buy it because you want to be part of a yacht club, or what's the reason? What's the reason behind you getting digital assets or wearing something of a digital collection? It is because it matches your narrative. It matches what's inside of your culture and what you're thinking. So definitely we can't stop the digital world. It's here to stay. But I believe that it's more than a challenge. I believe it's an opportunity. How can we transfer our culture to the digital world? How can we make it more accessible? How can I, for example, get a family of weavers, of traditional Oaxacan weavers that weave in their traditional loom? How can I get their story out there in the digital world so their story has a voice? And how can I get it to more people? So maybe that's an opportunity. Thank you.
Well, culture and metaverse or fashion or any other application is such an important pillar of all of that. Gives me goosebumps, and especially when you apply artificial intelligence, the storytelling, it becomes incredible. So therefore, thank you for bringing this aspect. I will add a photo of Oaxacan ladies in a moment, so you see what Carol was referring to. But I see Damara. Damara, let's try. Could you please quickly introduce yourself, where you're logging in from, and answer to the question how you see the industry, challenges and opportunities in the virtual fashion from your perspective? Damara is very...
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here today. I've been having some challenges to be able to connect to this talk, but I've been able to listen to a little bit of what the other speakers were saying. I'm very, very excited to be here today, and this is the peak of what digital fashion is all about, is having, like-minded digital natives in Web3 spaces, really showcasing their sense of style and their sense of identity. I'm a designer and strategist for the Metaverse, and I also work as a chief Metaverse officer to a shoes brand named Shoes 53045. And in my practice, I focus a lot on intersectional digitization, which is basically making sense of my own identity as a Black, African, and queer woman in the metaverse and in the diaspora. I truly believe that the metaverse is an evolution, right? It's meant to be an evolutionary step to how humans interact with each other. So in this new layer of interaction, it's very important that we create strategies and protocols that make sure that any layers of discrimination that exist in the real world are not materialized within the metaverse. When it comes to specific challenges of the industry, sorry, can you repeat the question?
Sorry for the delay. Yes, was trying to unmute. The question is, the challenges and opportunities in the fashion industry, how do you see the developments from your point of view, like from what you observe? And why virtual fashion is such a hype now? Why do we need it?
Yes, I think that digital fashion is a very, very relevant part and field of the fashion industry, because as digital native, speaking in my own personal experience as a digital native, I always lived in between two worlds, the physical and the digital. And as I grow up and the digital world becomes more and more of a crucial part of our everyday lives, then I also see my spectrum of interaction with the digital becoming more and more relevant, right? Or I feel a bigger need to be able to express myself digitally and to wear digital fashion as well. Another point of view I think that really connects with the challenges of the fashion industry, specifically talking about physical fashion, that has to do with sustainability, with pollution, with modern slavery, with all of the different issues that the fashion industry has in the not the blockchain, in the supply chain, right? So I think that digital fashion really offers a solution, especially when it comes to sustainability and sustainability in digital stages. For example, I always say that the main point of digital fashion for me is that as digital citizens, we are able to explore and express our identities digitally without further environmental waste and without further impacts to the climate. So it's just thinking about how technology can improve our connection with nature and with the world around us.
Thank you very much for your answer, Damara, and I am so very excited to have you with us now here. I put some assets on the walls, so to match the story of Carla, who answered about the original production of textile in Oaxaca. You can see the wonderful patterns. You don't see it in the fashion industry yet, but may I inspire the Fabricant team, Kadine, David, Talia, Damara, every one of you to really, replicate something from the culture, make it a collection that is relevant to the spirit of Mexico, which is amazing. Also, I would love to give a chance to Kadine, if Kadine is here to answer to the question. She has a live production at this moment, so she'll be coming and going. If not, are you here? Oh, Simon, could you please answer to the question on behalf of the Immersive Kind Collective about the challenges, opportunities that you see in the industry?
Sure, obviously. Kadine had something that she had to attend right away, right? So she asked me to help a bit with that. So yeah, definitely, I see a lot of opportunities challenges as well regarding the future of fashion in the metaverse, digital fashion, and this industry in particular. One of the opportunities I see is that it's one of the best times in in history that people will be able to express their identity to the fullest extent by creating different personas, because we have to agree that people don't want to don't want to have only one identity, but mostly it's about having few or more identities depending on the social context you are presenting. So we would have a different social identity for a I don't know, work conference, and a different one for your friends when you are playing online games together. So it will always be important to have means to express this digital identity. And for this, digital fashion and avatars combined are basically this core key to differentiate between you and other users. So I think that's a great opportunity because it's only growing. The amount of people entering the metaverse, the amount of brands entering the metaverse and presenting their own solutions, and obviously independent designers who, for me, are super important and a big part of MaisonDAO and Immersive Kind collective is exactly to help independent designers to produce these collections and release them. And that's where I see the big benefit and opportunity for metaverse fashion and this industry. And we can add obviously that the amount of players, right, globally is rising. So it's not only about social experiences, but people like to express their digital identity in a games like Fortnite. And I believe if we find ways for independent designers to be able to present their collections to the 40 million group of people or 50 million, that would be really great. For now, the Fortnite I think is mostly focused on Burberry or some other luxury brands, which is cool. But I wait for the time that the independent designers will be allowed to actually experience and be a part of this. And MaisonDAO and the Immersive Kind are exactly this kind of collective that is trying to push this into this direction. Regarding the challenges, I would still say that the biggest challenge is interoperability, right? Creating the standards and agreeing on the standards will probably take some time. Metaverse Fashion Council is one of the groups that is currently talking and working on this, but I imagine there are many, many more. And for us to have a working metaverse, like a fully realized metaverse, which will be like the interconnected network of virtual worlds, we need this interoperability to happen. So I hope that this challenge will be solved in the next year or two, because let's be real, it can be done in 1 month or two. After 1 year or 2 years, we should be able to have some standards regarding the big brands or amazing, respectable brands here like Fabricant and others will agree to have one sort of file that will work for gaming platforms, social experiences platform, events platforms. That's what I count on as well. But this is a big challenge right now, and probably all of the speakers can agree about this as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Simon. Simon is the founder of the MaisonDAO. It's a great collective to follow as well, and part of the Immersive Kind collective. Thank you for your answer. I would like now to ask you to look on the banner, because I am sharing the video of Gigi Casimiro from Decentraland, who is the head of Metaverse Fashion Week. She couldn't make it today due to business engagements, but what she can, let me just remove this for your vision. What she did for us, she recorded her message, and I would love to inspire you with her words. If you do not hear the sound, please do quickly reload. It happens sometimes due to internet connection stability. Now I'm sharing it right now with you, and enjoy.
right now, especially because we're coming from a very critical moment where we see a lot of questioning in the air, especially because of the actual circumstances of the NFT market. But I think we together will be able to discuss a lot of things. So let's go through the actual question, right? And I can be brief and share the thoughts. Well, I do believe digital fashion is extremely relevant in any context. First of all, because I think if you look into fashion, we should not look into digital fashion as a separate element, a separated element from the actual traditional fashion. Is actually a new way of telling the same story or continuing to tell a story. I commonly say that we are dealing with the continuum of storytelling, but today we can do that with more immersive technologies because I think it's quite common that we try to separate physical and digital. And when you think about bringing that discussion mainstream, those are ideologies or thoughts that make it even more complicated when actually it's very simple. We as humankind would love to be immersed in fantasy, in stories. We are gifted with a brain that allows us to dream and to tell stories oral, but they become visual in our brains. So we are that kind. We are the immersive kind. That's for you, Kadine. So I think it's on our nature to tell stories, to keep those stories in our minds, to transform oral or written narratives into visual and imaginary narratives in our heads. And I think this is what is so key when we think about why fashion is so relevant and why digital fashion is even more. The truth is, the fashion itself is an object that I think has been studied for so long because it is such an amazing thing. Fashion is a tool of transformation, of representation, even as a tool of segregation sometimes. So it is such an incredible creative tool that has been appropriated in different ways in society. And I think that's what is quite impressive, how fashion transformed through time and assumed different shapes, responsibilities, forms, right? In a way, expressing what humanity wishes, who we are in a way, or in all ways. And I think today we see that more than ever. The digital fashion is one of our expressions of self, right? Of the self, of our creativity, is one of our tools to tell the stories we want about who we are in the metaverse, but also in the overall virtual space. You don't need to be in the metaverse. You can be in a traditional Web2 social media. But when you have your Snapchat avatar dressed like you want or telling a story visually about yourself, you're expanding the narrative about your identity. So I think one of the main key factors of digital fashion to be so relevant and why it should remain, definitely one of them is identity. Identity is a big portion of that, but identity has been part of the digital fashion, but the fashion as a whole vertical, right? But now we can stretch those boundaries a little bit more. We can play fully with what kind of story you want to tell. You don't even have to be human in the metaverse. So I think that's where the fashion expands beyond what you already comprehended as fashion. But digital fashion brings other very key elements that are not just about how we dress, how we address ourselves, how we self-express. I think it's about changing the culture and the mindset because digital fashion is part of a new culture and economy, and I would even say politics. My PhD is very political. It's on heritage, open source, and crypto anarchy. So I can really come from that place to say that the digital fashion has a key role as an instrument of transformation for the Web3, but also for us to test the waters into more decentralized and open economy where brands and creators co-create. And I think Amber can bring that a lot more about the Fabricant working with the community of creators. But digital fashion is a powerful place for that also, where we are really trying to work in community and we are seeing amazing results. And also we're testing waters into different systems where creators can co-create, but also share the wealth. share the actual profit, and they are rewarded within the blockchain fairly, right? And forever, as long as their objects or their creations are traded, they will be rewarded from that. So I think that is another interesting point of view. There was already a lot of co-creation in the traditional fashion, but I think we incorporated that even more now. And then we're seeing the community of creators co-creating more and more, doing crazy collaborations and new collaborations. And I think that's what is beautiful, that this community is willing to comprehend each other's aesthetics and incorporate those different elements and create a very unique fashion, and try to do that collectively, not in isolation. So I think that's pretty powerful. And the third element that I would say is that digital fashion is not yet being fully utilized. And I think that's the final thought I have. I studied XR solutions for 10 years. That was also part of my master's and my PhD. And I am a big believer that the metaverse is still contained. That's why maybe a lot of us would say we are in the web 2.5, and I may agree with that, because we are not yet expanding the metaverse beyond its limits, right? Right now, we are still containing it into a small box called computers, called screens, and we are not yet hardware-wise to be able to expand it beyond those limitations. But the time is coming. You can clearly see that mixed reality solutions, augmented reality solutions are being improved, and we're getting very close. In a few years, we're going to be able to actually merge the digital fashion into our physical clothes. And that will be a key moment for digital fashion, because that will be when we'll be able to actually prove that an NFT, for example, that is actually a piece of your digital wardrobe, is a bridge between your identity in the physical and the digital, and we'll be able to have such a huge value also as an asset that you collect, because it's going to be a functional value in the physical space. Imagine your clothes will be completed by this new layer of digital clothing, and you'll be really an animated, incredibly fantastic being in the physical space. That time will come. And until then, I think we're going to be able to test with a lot of augmented reality apps that are trying to figure that out. But when the moment of mixed reality merges to our physical world, we're going to really be lucky to see the metaverse unlocking itself and all of us to the physical space in just one unique reality. Those are my thoughts. I hope you had a little bit of enlightenment from whatever I can share. And I'm sure now you're going to have a lot of fun, if you didn't already, with these amazing speakers. And thank you once again for the opportunity, Eve, and the whole community in this space. I'm honored. Lots of good energy, and hope to see you soon.
Wowie! Yeah, jump. That's a space bar if you want to try that, because I think Gigi definitely deserves for her engagement with us, though she couldn't make it in the physical form. All right. Did I miss anyone from the speakers to answer to this question on challenges and opportunities? I kind of believe I did cover everyone. If not, please let me know. We are moving to the next question at this moment. And the question is, if you look at the brands actively moving into the virtual fashion scene, who are they? And what are their, as I call, dope use cases that inspired you? Amber, I'm passing this invisible microphone to you. Could you please do the honors of answering first? Thank you.
Sure. Of course. So I think there's a lot of things happening in the space, which is something that we really haven't seen before, especially you wouldn't think of this 2 years ago, right? I think a lot of people are finding new, interesting ways of engaging with the space, which I think really should come from a place of honesty and a place of authenticity. So I feel like fashion has a lot to learn in that aspect. But I feel like some brands who are digitally native, like for instance Artifact, are doing really cool stuff by releasing the avatars for their creators community to create stuff, which is insane, right? I feel like that is something that we also really embody. With the Fabricant, we've always given away our files for free for people to use and to create their own creations with. And this has been super exciting to see people using our garments and creating their own visuals, which is, yeah, just something that I could have never imagined, and which has really taken our stuff to the next level. But yeah, so that's, I think, Artifact has a great example of really engaging the community and empowering them. And I think another, great example of the more traditional brands is, for instance, Gucci, who is trying a lot of different things and trying a lot of different ways of interacting with the space, creating their own NFT art gallery, which I think is pretty cool for them to do it from an authentic place. But I think also a lot of fashion brands have still a lot to learn, let's be real. And I think, for them to enter the space in a way that makes sense for them is a very important thing that needs to be explored. Not just going into the space like saying, oh yeah, we're super gamer right now and we're super community focused and saying all the right things, but actually not doing anything. So it needs to come from the place of how are you actually bringing value to your community? How are you bringing value to the people who buy your brand? And for a lot of fashion brands, that's still very new because a lot of them have actually always been taking value by asking people to pay for a lot of expensive products that over time lose their value unless you buy something that has a lot of quality, designer item that lasts years, then you can maybe resell it. But I feel like now there's so much more opportunity to have a direct connection to the people who are wearing your products, and they can actually also start co-creating with you and be a part of your brand. Like imagine, that's really what Web3 is about. Imagine buying a Louis Vuitton bag that immediately holds you having a share into the company, so that when the company does well, you also get a stake of that. And I think that is really what Web3 is about. If the project is working well, you also get benefits from that instead of it just being the people up top benefiting from all of the stuff. So yeah, that's kind of what we're trying to build as a fashion label that creates that. And I think, well, Artifact is a great example, and I think more to come hopefully very soon.
Thank you, Amber. Great words. And I think there's also potential for testing the waters with the virtual fashion before producing an element. If someone buys, there is a hype for buying that particular NFT, you can be sure you want to replicate it as a physical item, but you do it consciously without, with sustainable approach, right? Without really damaging the environment and the people and the efforts. Now, I see Damara in the audience. Damara, may I ask you this question? And then Carol, you'll be after Damara to answer. So the question is, if you look at the brands actively moving into the virtual fashion scene, who are they? What are the brands you notice? And what are the great use cases that inspired you? Just to name a few.
Yes, I think there are so many, let's say, analog, traditional luxury fashion brands creating such a huge impact in this space. Brands like Balenciaga, of course, Gucci, that is always looking for, the thing that I think that Gucci does very well is that they always look for key players inside the metaverse, inside, the world of designing filters or the world of creating immersive experiences, and they collaborate directly with those creatives. So they are able to permeate this space in a, let's say, authentic way, in a way that feels natural to the niche audience that already occupies this space. I work as a chief metaverse officer for a shoes brand that is Shoes 53045, and I absolutely love the practice behind our last campaign that was our cyberpunk drop. And I am particularly passionate about this drop, first because we collaborated with Futures Factory, that is a sneakers, specific sneakers specialized NFT platform. So it's great to connect directly with this kind of audience. Also because we really do believe that when it comes to NFTs and the metaverse, utility is freedom. So if I buy a pair of shoes in real life, I'm able to travel with them. If I buy the same pair of shoes and it's a digital counterpart, I want to be able to wear these shoes in as many places as possible. So we collaborated with Ready Player Me. We also have the shoes as a filter on Instagram and as a filter on Snapchat. So the audience can really wear it across the metaverse. And the most exciting part of this last drop is that we engaged in something we like to call digital upcycling, where basically we have a design of physical shoes. And if we don't sell all of the physical shoes, then a few months later, we are able to digitally repackage the same pair of shoes by releasing them again as a different NFT. So if we sold the first NFT physical shoes with the garden theme and we didn't sell all of the physical shoes, then 6 months later we can repackage these shoes under the NFT that has an ocean theme, for example. So it's really giving the metaverse space to impact the real world in a positive way, and also allowing the audience to interact with digital or physical fashion in a way that is very intuitive and very hybrid. So not really creating that binary between what is physical and what is digital, but creating a spectrum of interaction between physical and the digital side of our identities as well.
Wow, great. Inspiring answer, Damara. Thank you so much. Cara, I would need to apologize. I know that Talia needs to jump off the call soon, so I would love to ask her first, and then I will give you the honors. All right, thank you. Talia, the stage is yours to answer to this question about brands and epic projects.
Thank you so much. Really great hearing you all, and what amazing answers. And sorry about that. I really just need to jump off after my answer, but super excited to answer this question. I loved all the answers so far. I think that it really aligns also with my personal view of things, because I think that, first of all, it really needs to come from an authentic place of a community that's actually excited about. And I think one of the biggest mistakes of brands, like Amber said before, they just said the right things, but they don't actually act on them. And what do I mean? Is actually having the communities behind. I think the smartest thing a brand can do today is accessing the NFT quality communities that there are, and there are a lot. World of Women is just one example, and so many others, right? And I think brands that really did a great job, like, for example, Nike with Artifact, right? Because there was already an excited community, and you saw how it just took off and really created this amazing space of digital fashion that's just starting to grow. Regarding, a Web2 brand that's kind of diving into the space. Also with Gucci, that kind of took all the Gucci kind of traits. I would say it was like a jacket that they put on different NFT brands. And the thing about the NFT brands that, today, let's say the Apes, World of Women, Boss Beauties, and so many others, or even Eyes of Fashion, like, they're starting to build a presence in Web3, and I'm sure that there's just the beginning. There will be so much more. But the ones with the community that shares them, that's enthusiastic about them, because also they're like, they're a part of the project. I think also as an artist, coming from Web2 to Web3, the difference is really seeing people really, as I say, I would say, like, invested and feeling a part of the brand. And I think that that's really the beauty of the NFT projects in Web3, and how brands can come and really work together and share it all with their communities. I think that's a really good way to go, without just, yes, of course you can do your creative things and kind of jump in the water, but I think that definitely go ahead and test out the communities that are out there, because there's a lot of new clients in Web3 that weren't exactly the same in Web2, but they're here now, and slowly but surely we'll be onboarding more communities from Web2 to Web3 that are in the fashion space. But I think that it's a great way to dive into the space. Also, I attended some fashion events of different brands that were doing, getting into NFTs now in New York that were really nice. Balmain, they launched with an artist a shoe that you can get also as an NFT, and in, like you were saying before, me actually, Damara, like you can get them also in IRL and also in an NFT version. I think that, you know, it's a great way. Ian Rogers just got interviewed from Ledger. He's amazing. He just said, like, what's the point of having, you know, a collection of physical goods that you can't show anyone if you're at home versus showing it to everyone in your wallet. So I think that's a great example of just having this, you know, because so much about brands and luxury brands especially is about also showing the ownership of it as well as, of course, the creative part. And this is a great example, as well as Coach, that I went to their NFT launch event, that also they launched an NFT with an artist that will give special opportunities for the owners. And I know that they're still, you know, having people claim their NFT because they went more to the way of, you know, building a community around the NFT and then launching products that will be exclusive. They said they can't reveal what it is, but they said like launching things that, I don't know if products or experiences, I don't know what it is yet, that will be exclusive only for the NFT holders. And I think these, you know, these perks, these exclusive feelings of a club is a great way for also, you know, the brands to join, not only as utility, but like building the community. And the greatest way really to access it these days is through Web3 brands that are being identified and built. And I think, you know, throughout my time in New York, the first time, you know, kind of meeting everyone in real life was really powerful, because then I saw how many people are really identifying Eyes of Fashion or the Apes or all the different projects out there, right? And Eyes of Fashion is a small project comparatively, even though, you know, we're quite known, I guess, in the fashion space, but still it's starting being kind of a brand, a Web3 based brand, and not to mention World of Women, which, you know, I saw so many people like with nail polish of the different NFT brands and shirts, and it just shows you the power and how people kind of already identify with their PFP. So I think it's a really great way for Web2 brands to step into those communities and join forces and create things together. Oh, and one more thing before I finish. So we also launched a collaboration with Anywhere. Anywhere is basically also a fashion design online platform that you can really design any garment you want with any print you want, any fabric you want, any textile you want, but also get this design as an NFT and also get it in real life version. So I'm really excited about that we're doing. And also about Rebecca Minkoff's and Mavion's collaboration that's happening in minting this week. If you guys heard of it, that Rebecca Minkoff, you know, a really known Web2 fashion designer that kind of already had her stepping stone into Web3, being one of the first designers to speak about digital fashion, is launching, you know, 55 NFTs this week with Mavion, that 5 out of them are going to get the digital purse and invitations to fashion shows and New York Fashion Week, people that are owners of the NFTs. So the ones that have the drawing of the bag will also get it in real life. So I think all this is super exciting for me. I can talk about it for hours. And again, thank you so much. Such a pleasure being with you in the Metaverse, everyone. And really such an honor to be alongside all these amazing speakers. So have an amazing rest of your Metaverse, our Metaverse party. Sorry, bye, I have to leave.
Talia, thank you so much for your words, for sharing your wisdom, and for inspiring us. Have a beautiful rest of the day. And we're going to follow you, all of us, and see all other successes that you're going to achieve and masterpieces that you are to create. Thank you. Okay, well, Carla, please share your point of view on the topic of brands creating magic. And so where's that going? What did inspire you from the brand's perspective?
Yes. Thank you. I was just putting my avatar in place. Thank you. And wow, you're all amazing. I wanted to, about the brands, I wanted to mention what I mentioned before. The Gucci Aria collection was really amazing. And of course, Louis Vuitton and Nike is doing really something really interesting, because I see that there's a possibility of fusing art and fashion. I believe fashion is art anyways, because it is an artistic process. But I find it interesting that there's a possibility that maybe fashion is getting closer to the people. Maybe it's becoming a little more democratized. They make it a bit more accessible for everyone, so it's not unreachable. And I find that really interesting. And
Girls
I
in
find
Tech
also
and Wild
what
Day
I find interesting is to find inspiration, because brands are also
Now to your
sharing their
host.
creative process of how they got to the digital collection. So I find that really inspiring. And us personally in our collective, we're focusing on that, on sharing our artistic process and getting it out there for everyone, so we can all share and make a bigger community of people who are inspired by fashion and by art. And so I believe that's really important. And also, I believe what brands are also doing is fashion is becoming, of course, in the digital world, more sustainable. There is an awareness growing about the planet and about sustainable fashion. So I also believe that's very important, what brands are doing. And me personally, with my brand and the digital collection I'm working on, is that I want to share the stories. I want to go back to this, because I believe that it's really important as brands, or I mean, I speak personally of mine, Lexa. I will find, or I will search the way to empower the people behind the brand and empower the people behind the product. So it's all a sustainable chain. And that's what we're looking for as a collective. And also, I do see that awareness of the brands, of bringing people together, making a community, making a statement of
welcomes you to the
sustainability
Immersive
for
Kind
the
Gallery
planet
in
and for the future. So I believe, I mean, I spoke about Nike and Gucci and, of course, Balenciaga, and I really hope it gets bigger and bigger, so we can all become more aware and also more connected and inspire each other. Thank you.
Absolutely, this is truth, exact truth. All right, same question goes to David. David, what do you think about brands and their work?
Yeah. So I think we have seen a lot of big fashion brands like already mentioned, Balenciaga releasing Fortnite skins, Ralph Lauren releasing a full collection on Sandbox, Nike entering the space with their crypto kicks. So we're seeing a lot of brands doing quite cool things. What I personally also like is how some brands, can really reach a completely new audience by collaborating with artists and realizing virtual designs which would have never been possible if it were a physical item, you know. And this is something that really works also for fairly traditional brands. Like we did a case with Hogan, which is quite a traditional shoe brand, and they collaborated with 5 digital artists and created 5. Each artist realized or designed one version of their main shoe, and those were so extremely engaging. And they released them together with Exclusable. They did an auction, and the nice thing was that, you know, on top of this NFT, which was basically an animated version of the artist's design, we also created an AR experience of it. So it's quite interesting to see how those brands, you know, they go from being a very traditional brands to now have this virtual asset which people can own, and they can engage with it on a very high level. So I think it's very interesting to see how brands, you know, through these collaborations can enter the Web3 space in a very useful way for both the brands as the audience. I do think that one of the difficult things, which, you know, I also heard here earlier, is really adding actual value instead of creating one-offs. That's always a difficult thing. You know, some brands really want to jump in the space very quickly by just, you know, creating a cool design. But I think the challenge really is creating something that lasts longer. You know, like also Nike is doing with their crypto kicks, doing some kind of earn to play asset, or something that keeps it interesting during a longer time, and that also keeps the community engaged. So I think that's always something very interesting to explore as a brand, to really see how we can keep the community engaged and really, you know, give them really value for what they're basically paying for. Or for the assets that they own. So that's something that's very interesting to look into, and I find it personally very interesting to think about that strategy myself, and you know, to see how we can help brands to really reach that higher level of engagement during a longer period, for their campaigns and for their products. So yeah, that's from my part.
Thank you, David. Thank you very much for your answer. Simon, what would you add to this on behalf of the Immersive Kind Collective? Unless Kadine join us? I don't think so. At least I don't see.
I think, yeah, I don't see Kadine anywhere. So I can still answer. Can you just rephrase the question?
Sure. It's about the brands that are experimenting with virtual fashion, and what are the great examples that you see? Maybe one brand that really caught your attention doing something in virtual fashion, Metaverse, and so on.
Sure. So I think one of the cool collaborations that I liked, and it seems like it's working for both the brand and the fans, is the Burberry and Blancos block party. Right, the creation of avatars, the creation of the events, and allowing people to actually experience the metaverse in Burberry-inspired mascots, right? Maybe it's not fully digital fashion, but it's still about avatars and expressing digital identity. And I really like how they went on about this. I also really appreciate the Blancos project. So it's really inspiring and great to see that they could have a collaboration with such a big brand as Burberry. They released their collection some time ago, and then added the new pieces lately. So it's also great that it's ongoing collaboration, not a one-off thing actually, but it's something that the users, the fans of the brands, can actually work on, right, and be a part of this community and of this collaborative community, between Blancos and Burberry. So I think, that's one of the examples that I really like regarding the metaverse. you can play with these mascots, right? You can take part in a social event. I think the virtual experience was inspired by one of their collections and a series of events that they were running. So I think it's a great connection between the real world brand and the fashion brand and the metaverse. Somebody mentioned earlier, I think Gigi on her video, that basically it's maybe we shouldn't talk that much about the virtual world and the real world. It's more like a hybrid continuum reality that we are living right now. And regarding this, I think Burberry with Blancos, they also did a very good influencer campaign when the real world mascot, right, was going on the streets. They made a photo shoot in the real world. One of Burberry's stores was remodeled to be like a Blancos block party kind of design. So it was pretty great to see how this virtual was influencing the real world, which in the end is this hybrid reality that we are talking about. Thanks.
Thank you so very much for sharing, Simon, with us this wonderful use case. Now, we have two more kind of big things left for our event. One is the presentation or the inspiring video from Natalie Trevonne, a blind actress, artist, fashion creator. It will be a piece of video that I will play now in a moment. I would also, knowing that some of the speakers need to run because it's a business day, I would like to just help me with giving a round of applause. Some of them you see will disappear soon. Especially I would like to say thank you to Amber, Tamara, Carla, Talia already gone, David, or Simon for Kadine, and I hope I'm not forgetting anyone. That would be embarrassing. I think I covered everyone. So thank you for your participation. If you need to go as a speaker, do so, but please stay if you can to answer to the questions, because that's the great part for people to learn from you. So let me show you another inspiring piece, because we're talking brands, but we are talking also creatives. We have Xander Love in the audience, who is part of this collective, of this project. He will follow up, that he was clapping right now, with three cool, three shape classes. I will first play the video from Natalie, and then I will ask Xander to speak about the project. Thank you very much. And here you go with the video being shared. Enjoy.
The Nesta dress is super special to me just because I think going into it, I was really excited about designing something and being able to show kind of my creativity and, how my brain works and what I imagine without being able to see. But as I really started to think about this dress and what it would mean for not only me, but my community, the possibilities started to open up. I was just like, you know what? This is more than just about fashion. This is about community and legacy and moving forward, because as I've mentioned time and time again, I don't see enough people with disabilities, specifically blind individuals, being represented in media. And I definitely don't see any disabled brides or bridesmaids or anything like that. And so I thought it was super important for me to show up for my community and say, hey, yes, we get married, and yes, we want the perfect dress, and yes, we're here, and we're going to continue to be here until you start to listen to us and make sure that we're seen as well. And so I'm just so grateful and thankful for the opportunity, not only to work with Xander and Ernest, but also to be the voice and the representation for my community so that little blind girls and boys understand like, hey, this is possible. We can do this. We can break barriers. We are designers. We are creators. And we can live out our dreams with the right support and resources. And so my hope is that the next address really encourages people to do the things they've always wanted to do, despite the limitations that society puts on them.
So this, every time I watch it or I talk to Natalie, this gets me. There is music playing. Apologies for that. It was on my end. So with the beat, I wanted to say that it always gets me because we speak of people and we call them people with disabilities in a certain way, saying like, oh, poor you have this and this. And actually not that. Disability is an ability. It's a superpower. And I believe that people with special superpowers, they see the world differently. They can integrate into the world the way they feel it, they touch it, they see it, they move in that. And they create their own reality. We're not talking virtual reality. You notice that Natalie is not here with us just because Metaverse is super hard for people with blindness to operate in, but it needs to be developed and needs to be adjusted to the extent of everyone being able to access and being able to feel and being present in this new virtual world we're creating. So next to me is Sander, who will brief you a little bit on the project because he was the powerhouse behind it. Sander, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for organizing this amazing event. It's been truly incredible, the immersive kind. Thank you for hosting. The space is also incredible. The Nest address has really, truly been a dream project for me to collaborate with. Not only has it, shaped new paradigms in the NFT space and the fashion industry. For me personally, it's also helped reignite a new mission of collaboration and also inclusion. Ernest Spicer, he is the founder and CEO over at Ignis Studios, first approached me with the project, and like immediately it jumped out to me because in this mad world of technology and Web3 and the Metaverse, something I always try to live by, a mantra I have is know thyself. And storytelling is, essential in connecting, to yourself and to others. So this particular story stuck out to me because it transcended the technology. It transcended the Metaverse and Web3 and got down to a core human element of just being seen and being able to express yourself. And so, hey, what's up? This is Ernest, I think, just joined us. I had the opportunity to be the project manager, and I was working with 3DM at the time, and this was right around the time the Metaverse Fashion Week was happening. So we pitched the dress, the story of Natalie and the dress, and they echoed that it was, a very important to Web3 and maybe one of the most important use cases for inclusion. And, Kathy Hackle wore it as the chair of the Metaverse Fashion Week, which was, an honor. It was featured in a wedding in Decentraland, one of the first weddings in Decentraland, which was, super cool for the dress to be included in that way. We just wrapped up NFT NYC, where we got to all meet in person, got to meet Natalie and Ernest and the rest of our panel and share a little bit about the dress and everything like that. So there's a couple more ideations of what's happening with the line being extended, the sale of the NFT, as well as the next fashion pieces Natalie and Ernest are working on. So if you don't mind, Eve, maybe we could have Ernest just say a couple words.
I don't mind. That would be lovely. Ernest, you were also the powerhouse behind the project. the red beard. I know that's Ignis.
Yeah.
Where's Ernst?
Still in here? Oh, there he is.
Ernst? There is a button on mute in the lower left corner in case.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I was actually getting prepared for my next meeting, but yeah, thank you for letting me speak on here, and thank you for highlighting the Ness address and Natalie's extensive work. She was actually just had an article in Black Girl Nerd, which is this awesome publication that highlights fashion, highlights technology, all that good stuff. It talks about the Ness address extensively. Natalie, myself, and we're working with a couple of other designers. We're pulling together to build what's called the Naya, or Not Your Inspiration Collection. Natalie is an inspiration to me because she's just this amazing entertainer, dancer, just brilliant mind. And you know, one thing that she, when we first started working together last year, she says, I don't want to be people's inspiration for being blind and walking across the street. I want to inspire people for being an amazing professional in the field I want to work in. So, you know, that's what's bringing our next line. Hopefully we'll be releasing it at the Fashion for Everyone show in Nashville with Victoria over at Unhidden Clothing, and we have a couple of other designers for some other pieces later down the road for spring. But yeah, thanks for letting me speak, and you guys, you got an awesome thing going here. Thank you.
Thank you, Ernst. Thank you, Xander. Yeah, they are creators, innovators, and follow them. They just spoke at NFC NYC, and you can see them at big events. So influencers in the audience, woohoo! Awesome. We are about to finish our event. We're going to go into the, well, you can call it Q&A, but also it's just the chat round. I really would love to hear your points of view on this development of virtual fashion and how you envision the future of this industry and the metaverse commerce. So if you have something to share, please be my guest. Just, you know, use Y to show thumbs up. That is your rounds to you know, answer. And yeah, thank you for coming. It was incredible today. Such a great energy in the audience. Thank you so much. We at EVENNESS love you all.
EVENNESS welcomes you to the Immersive Kind Gallery in Spatial. Learn why virtual fashion is now a thing
Do we
from
have anyone
inspiring
to
speakers
share
and
thoughts and
leaders in the
ideas?
fashion industry. Featuring Talia Zoref, Natalie Trevonne, Amber J. Slooten, Kadine James, Dr. Giovanna Graziosi Casimiro, David Robustelli, Natalie Trevonne, Damara Inglace. This event is organized in partnership with the Immersive Kind, Spatial, MaisonDAO, Women in AI, Women in Tech Netherlands, part of Women.
Yes, Rita. Yeah, thank you.
Hi. Okay. I just had a quick question. Like for the Burberry Blancos, for example, how do I go there? How do I literally get there to see it in the metaverse from my laptop or goggles?
Simon, I think you presented that case. Would you know how to access?
Hey. Regarding, from what I know, it's better to inspect this again, actually. But it is the events were open to the Blancos community and to the owners of the Burberry X Blancos NFT. The information was on their Discord channel that they are running. So always the fresh information is there about how you can get to the games, to the metaverse spaces itself.
Okay, got it. Got it. I'll check out their Discord.
No worries. You're welcome.
I would also say we are to share the examples, the links to the videos that were played, and also the QR codes to David's work that you can play with on your mobile phones, pointing at the fashion collections, clothes, and create a fashion collection by applying his filters. So it will be fun to just stay tuned for what's coming on our social media channels, also in the email communication. And we will cover also with the blog post examples of the brands experimenting with virtual fashion. I will talk to Simon to include this wonderful case, so that will be easier for you, Rita, also to find the information. Just give a few days because we need to put information together. Now, do we have any other questions? I see Carla is still with us here. I haven't been to Oaxaca, but every time I look at the images, it just gives me goosebumps. I so want to go. It's so beautiful there. I don't know if you ever traveled, but their fashion and textile is of the next level. Such cheerful vibe it gives.
I just wanted to say thank you so much for everyone speaking today. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's something. It's such a great content, right? All the stories shared. Storytelling is a powerful thing. All right, so who do we have here? If you can just introduce yourself. Rita, let's start with you. You already asked a question. So what do you do? Are you founder? Are you a creator?
Hi, sure. I'm CEO of Wavelets Entertainment. We're funded by Alibaba and Media Asia, and we have been developing scripts and screenplays in the entertainment sector for the Chinese audience, and we're just pivoting now toward working more in the US. And I'm really interested in getting to be at the forefront of entertainment at the Metaverse. And I think that fashion is cinema is fashion. You know, it's I think fashion is sort of, you know, a physical kind of symbol of what people are trying to communicate. And so in movies, that's how, you know, people show their mood, how they show who they are, all those things. So it just seemed like a natural event to go to, and this has been wonderful. It's been really enlightening, and it's just, this is all changing so fast. I mean, to me, it's just really interesting how the accessibility, you know, I have my Oculus Rift goggles and they were $299, and it's pretty amazing. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Rita. Great story. Love your startup, a business scale up. I think already if Alibaba is backing you and believing in you. Great job there.
Yeah.
Who else would like to share a story about yourself or introduce yourself? Michael, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Michael.
Hi.
I'm a philosopher and writer, and I'm actually currently co-editing a book on digital fashion for Bloomsbury Academic.
Wow.
So I've been trying to come to a lot of these different events as much as I can to just hear from different perspectives. So it's been really great to see what, you know, some of the leaders in digital fashion have to say. So thank you for organizing this.
Thank you for coming. I appreciate it a lot. Good luck with the project, the book. And who do we have? Ariana, are you with us? I see the wonderful wings.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh yeah, I just say hi. It's good to be back. Yeah, I just wanted to go a little experimental today. I usually wear the kind of space explorer outfit that I see Carla is wearing today. That's been one of my favorites. I've been interning at EVENNESS for, 2.5 months now. I'm learning level design. It is quite intense, and I've been just, full on sinking into Blender. It's really been quite challenging, but very rewarding. And just seeing the space that I didn't know could exist. If you told me 2 years ago this was going to be something I was doing, I would not have comprehended. But it's quite the journey. And I think fashion and the physicality of this world is something that's going to be so interesting to explore. I think there's already so much creativity going on in what's available. I think there's much that can be kind of tweaked, like sometimes, the shoes can look a bit more realistic. I don't know about the puffy shoes sometimes with Ready Player Me, but they're quite prototyped so far. But yeah, I'm a visual artist who kind of got lost and didn't study visual arts. I ended up studying very much liberal arts and exploring, AI through literature, through through film. I studied in Boston, but I'm now back in Paris, and so kind of this transition from different places. Sorry, I'm kind of also with the ADD, like Talia was talking about. I'm just very inspired. I'm very inspired by everything I'm seeing. I hope that there can be more inclusivity with body types. That's something that I'm hoping really I can see in the metaverse moving forward, is less, one body type is like the only body type that can exist is skinny, essentially. That's something I think can be really worked on as a plus size person. But aside from that, those are all changes. I think if there's focus on inclusivity, that's going to happen. I trust humanity to do the right thing at the end of the day. Thank you.
Wow, wise words. Thank you, Ariana. This is great, because diversity, inclusion, and accessibility are the three leading pillars. Because what we are saying with Metaverse, come as you are, be yourself, extend your horizons, get inspired, become a creator, become an innovator, build it, test it, share your joy with others, make the world more respectful than in the physical form of it. And that's at least what we are trying to achieve with EVENNESS, paying really close attention to the developments in the fields and also bringing the knowledge into this frontier technology game. We have a gallery. It's called on Spatial. It's called EVENNESS Gallery Respect. So you can search Gallery Respect. It's easy in VR, in XR. And it showcases the stories of people of color on the global scale and through history. That's a great learning experience of the great doers, innovators, scientists, and name it. And next event, I just wanted to highlight that. Next event is on July 19th. We're having aerospace engineers who work at Boeing. They are people of color. They are the innovators of today, the engineers, the developers, because they are building the Boeing rocket that will take people to Mars. It's a NASA project. And we will recreate the Mars experience, so you can jump on this red planet during the event and ask them all the questions you've got. So that's pretty dope. And I see we still have some people who didn't introduce themselves. So Orlando, would you like to introduce yourself? And I see the immersive kinds. In case, Orlando, you don't see the unmute button, it's lower left corner. Well, do you have anything else to share? Because we are out of time. I was just really hanging out with you guys. You're amazing, and it gives me joy and pleasure to be surrounded by you. So, I'll clap to you too. Yeah, thank you. So, Orlando, if you want to share your story, please be my guest. Just take the microphone. The immersive kinds, I forgot, I don't see the name, so I kind of challenged to understand who is from the immersive kind there. But nevertheless, I would love to say thank you to everyone for coming. Stay tuned, sign up for the next event. You need to be registered because usually it's so many people registering that the tickets go fast. And also the Power of DAO event on July 26th. Xander will be the keynote speaker, and there will be so many impressive DAOists, including Simon from MaisonDAO, who was here. He is here. I see him still. And we have Talent DAO, we have Reorg DAO, we have Tab from Resistance DAO. Help me, Virtual Powers, not to forget any name. I'm going through. Oh, and of course, one and only, Layla from All Stars Women NFT Club and DAO. So please do join. Go to our page, EVENNESS.rocks decentralized series. You will see the tab. And last but not the least, it's the social channels, LinkedIn, Twitter, and share, cross-share, like, share your love and joy. Thank you very much for coming, and have a wonderful day, night, midday. Enjoy.
EVENNESS welcomes you to the Immersive Kind Gallery in Spatial. Learn why virtual fashion is now a thing from inspiring speakers and leaders in the fashion industry.
It's Danny, by the way.
Featuring
How are we doing? You right?
Talia Zoref, Natalie Trevonne,
How are we getting? Sorry.
Slooten, Kadine James, Dr. Giovanna Graziosi Casimiro, David Robustelli,
from the Lake
Natalie
District.
Trevonne, Damara Ingles.
Nobody goes there.
This event is organized
Nobody
in
goes
partnership with the Immersive Kind, Spatial,
Well, no, yeah,
MaisonDAO,
it is
Women
nice,
in
but,
AI,
it's boring.
Women